Can you go back now to the Fun Lovin Criminals?
Oh yeah, I think so. I think we have a 20-year anniversary coming up next year, and I'll be pretty damn sure that we'll be playing some shows. Yeah.
But I mean also with the way you are experiencing live now with the solo album.
Yeah, I mean
are there more depths now to new material of the Fun Lovin Criminals?
I'd like to think that we could put a record together. Yeah, I think that's something that we've talked about. Frank and I have definitely. We're planning on doing some things. I think you get the three of us in a room, and it's the Fun Lovin Criminals. We'll definitely come up with some good stuff. But I think we needed a break, just from being around each other and being in that bubble, to be able to write songs, just write Fun Lovin Criminals music. And I think it's important as an artist to do that. And this solo record is by no means me leaving the band. It's just something I'm doing on the side, and with my friends. And one of them happens to be a Fun Lovin Criminal too. So it was something that I thought I kind of wanted to do, but like I said, I didn't know if I could do it. And eventually I realized that with the help of my friends and the love of my friends that I could.
Is this more your Irish side?
What's that?
The solo album.
Well, I don't know. I think this is more I've always loved blues. I've always loved rock and roll. I mean, these things come across in Fun Lovin Criminals music, but we also had a lot of urban influence as well. And I think this record kind of takes a little bit of a step back in time, when guitars sounded like guitars and drums sounded like drums, and there wasn't a lot of programming involved, and everybody was just playing their instruments. And the great thing about when we play live, everybody just has fun. And when the Fun Lovin Criminals play, we have to kind of play the songs the way they were recorded, so people who paid their good money to come see us play are happy and satisfied, because that's what we do. We try to make people happy. And with this project, it was a lot different because there was nothing written down. There was no roadmap. There was no GPS navigation system. Yeah. It was just like we just went out and tried it. And it's one of those things that we tried it and it worked. And it worked in a way that made everybody really happy. We did the show in London, and it was one of those things where we got backstage after we had done it, and we had 2 encores. And that was our first show ever, and we came backstage, and we were all looking at each other, and we just started laughing, and we all hugged each other. And it was a really good moment that I had missed for a long time with the Fun Lovin Criminals, because it was almost a regimented machine that was working. And I wanted to break that cycle. And I think doing this record broke that cycle for the Fun Lovin Criminals and for me as a person. So it would make it easier for me to go back to being a Fun Lovin Criminal, rather than just not making any music and just kind of biding my time.
I think you've said that well already. Your Irish descent is nothing important to you.
I think descent and environment are 2 different things.
Yeah.
I think where I grew up, it was the great melting pot of New York City, and I think you can have a lot of different influences that aren't necessarily genetic, but environmental. And I think growing up in New York afforded me a lot of different influences that I wouldn't have had if I had been brought up in, say, Iowa, where there was just rock or disco.
So for you, it's more like the environment shaped you, and not what you're.
Yeah, I think it's nature and nurture, that helped this record along. But I don't think it was because I came from an ethnic background that made me more apt to play this kind of music or that kind of music. But we call it New York blues, and it's one of those things that is kind of its own kind of style of music, but it does lend itself to some country, and it lends itself to some funk, and we do some rock stuff as well, and we just have fun with it. And I think when you want to have fun with something, it's like when you're a kid. I see my son play. He's not trying to get something done. He's just playing, and that's what we try to do with this record, and that's what we do when we play live. We just play.